Hello everyone and welcome to another video here with Hypnotherapy Training International. And today Dr. John Butler will talk to us about his up-and-coming course, Hypnotherapy Skills for Life Change, that some of you might have taken already. He has been teaching it for many decades now, and he actually started a long time ago with Gil Boyne teaching in those classes as well. So today he's going to talk to us about 5 main skills that you're going to learn in this course, and I'm going to pass you on to John, who will quickly cover hypnotherapy and then the skills for life change and what's unique about it. To you, John.
Thank you, Idan. Welcome. Very quickly then, an overview of hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is really a method of tapping into the deep power of the mind. And it is a method that is the most effective discovered, at least certainly that I know of, having studied psychology, psychotherapy, and many systems of activating the mind, such as meditation and so on, which overlaps quite a bit with hypnotherapy, the hypnotic state and the applications for therapeutic purposes. So with hypnosis, we're talking about discovering that latent power, your deep inner nature and its vast potential, which of course is a lifelong discovery. However, it doesn't take forever to begin to use that power. When you begin to discover the power of hypnotherapy, very soon you're coming into greater control of emotions, of ability to find your destiny and purpose, to understand yourself. And as you begin to be able to take control in your life, you begin to be able to help others if that's your goal. So hypnotherapy, that power, and we've used it again and again in surgery applications, in many medical procedures, and still when we've had it tried and tested in working with high achievers, sports and athletics, actors, performance enhancement and creative arts, in academic learning, and in many other fields. And there's a lot of literature supporting the use of hypnosis nowadays. Having said that, getting good training is not simple. Anybody can claim to be a teacher or a practitioner of hypnotherapy without previous qualifications in many countries around the world. So your investigation into training has to be very thorough, looking into the credentials of the teachers and the content of what you're going to learn. So I'm going to talk very quickly now about some of the things you're going to learn on this course. You're going to learn to use it in a career method, in a career use. For example, you want to help people with the problems they have in life. And these are problems to do with stress, with anxiety, problems that affect them in their behaviors then as they try and compensate for feeling not good emotionally. They may use food as a crutch. They may have addiction to alcohol. They may have a dependency on drugs of various kinds, or escapism into various forms of, say, internet addiction, or they may find a kind of excitement in gambling. All of these are proof that we don't know how to use our own brain chemistry. And so as you begin to work with people, there's an amazing potential there in hypnotherapy, provided it's done well. And it isn't just simple, basic, simplistic suggestion giving, which is what a lot of hypnotherapy training is out there. It's very ineffective for many of the problems. Many people get better or have at least improvements in their conditions over time without psychotherapy, without hypnotherapy. However, if a properly trained hypnotherapist is dealing with those problems, they can be getting it up into the 80s and 90% success, which is far above what many therapists achieve from the data, the very best data over about 50 years. So helping people is one aspect of it. You learn how to change your life. Life skills change. And that means working on your own issues, for example, of course, is very important. Getting in control of your own anxieties, your own confidence issues, depression issues, and dealing with maybe you have an eating issue yourself and so on. And hypnotherapists are not immune from those problems. Now, as we go further then into the mind and go to the deeper levels, personal development, discovering who you are, which I mentioned briefly before, which allows you then to begin to activate that potential, which may be working against many people. For example, the power of the subconscious it's a two-edged sword. Many people are controlled by baggage from their past. by negative feelings. So they begin to become self-destructive in eating, or self-destructive in their relationships, or with drug addictions and so on. And logically, cognitively, they know the answer. I need to stop this. I shouldn't think like this. But that doesn't change the way they feel. And so the feelings are stronger than the logic in the longer term. So we have to tackle those. And provided the client commits to the therapy and doesn't want to remain in victim mode with the benefits that can give some people, then they can begin to really change. So as we develop ourselves and help the clients then develop themselves, communication skills. Now, this is a major area for people. A lot of relationships are under stress with COVID at the moment, with the various lockdowns and degrees of restrictions and the isolation that can come with that. People's ability to communicate with themselves, which is the essential basis of it all. And that really is knowing yourself and beginning to appreciate yourself and respect yourself properly and take responsibility for yourself in your life. Really become self-reliant. Now, as we begin to form that loving relationship with ourselves, that's unconditional, and it involves taking full responsibility for ourselves, we can begin to connect with others in a very deeper way. And that leads to healthy relationships, healthy, balanced relationships. We get out of dependency, codependency, or projecting our own problems on others, which is often what happens when people have the so-called fear of public speaking. They're projecting their own self-rejection onto others and imagining that the audience are all hostile to them, which may not be the case at all. In fact, it's rarely the audience are thinking what the therapist is thinking that they're thinking, or in the case of not the therapist, the speaker is thinking. And so there are some of the little more everyday application, but it goes to the heart of therapy in many ways. Now, I say a little problem because it's really quite a simple issue, self-rejection. Healing it is a different matter. So public speaking may well be only the symptom of deeper issues, which then you can easily deal with in hypnotherapy with a willing client who's prepared to go back and deal with their baggage from the past. That's often called analytical hypnotherapy or regression hypnotherapy, and out of which many forms of other therapies developed. It was hypnotherapy that gave rise to psychotherapy, talk therapy, and the counseling methodologies we have, the coaching methods, they're all essentially fragments of hypnotherapy, which is a fully complete system. And it's been recorded as being in ancient cultures that hypnotherapy in a form that we could really quite recognize as similar in many ways to what we do today was around in the Greeks and Egyptian times. Scholars who have looked into it now agree that hypnotherapy as a holistic therapy has been around for millennia. And so we keep learning more and more about things that the ancient Hindus learned about, that the Vedic tradition and many aspects of Buddhism and mystical systems in the West, the philosophy owes a great deal to the practitioners of hypnosis who also learn meditation within those philosophies. So you're learning something that's very powerful. You're going to learn on this course the very best methods of the best teachers, Gil Boyne, Dave Ellman, and all those who preceded them in the classical tradition. And it's a very modern approach that we teach, combining cognitive methods, the psychodynamic methods and approaches, and humanistic integrative methods and others, because there's so many viewpoints within hypnotherapy that have come out of hypnotherapy, really, in the Western culture, applications of hypnosis and hypnotherapy. And now we use those as well as part of the training and the practice of hypnotherapy. So you need to know about those. Flexible learning options. We have available through online now a great range of material for you to study in your own time. We have live interactive sessions in breakout rooms where you practice with other students, you're supervised, feedback is given. And so a lot of learning takes place in the live online part of the course. And then that's followed up with personal tuition that's available to you when you finish the course. So we're very keen that you get the very best online experience, because at this present time, of course, And for other reasons, ease of travel, comfort, and so on, people don't have to go very far, just to the front room, maybe to switch on and learn about hypnotherapy. We do, of course, run physical classes when that's available, but those are not realistically available at the moment. And in the future, much hypnotherapy training will be online because of the great benefits being able to study material again and again and be able to learn from any part of the world and go into it in more and more detail as online technologies develop as well. So we really want you to have the very best online experience. Now, one of the areas that is of great importance, particularly nowadays, as people are suffering a great deal with the effects of this pandemic. We have an uncertain future ahead. People have been very affected by it at the emotional level, some physically, as they struggle to regain their health with long COVID and other fallout physical problems from COVID. Much of which we're only really learning about now in medicine, how it affects some people longer term. So people have to learn how to use their minds to boost their immune system, to help their bodies, natural healing mechanisms in conjunction with medicine. As they work with their minds, they can help regain focus and motivation. Perhaps having lost some of that, they're not working with their colleagues, they're working at home. Very effective for some people. Others find that much more difficult as it goes on for a long time. So we help people with their careers, with their financial side of their lives, because as they become more creative, they're not just simply the slaves of working for somebody else. They can begin to forge their own financial destiny. Hypnotherapy is all about self-empowerment, self-discovery, self-reliance. There's other aspects of stress, of course, that are affecting people, not only the physiological, the mental, emotional, as said earlier, the isolation from others, that's a big problem certainly for some of the elderly people. And you as a therapist can help people so much with those kind of issues. Disruption of life, strain on relationships, difficulties in other ways that are fallout from all of the disruption, uncertainty, the increased anxiety and pressure on people has increased the level of mental health issues, and then people turning to drugs and alcohol as escape mechanisms when they don't know about their inner power. So all of those things that are very stressful to people. Stress is the load that's placed on you. We can't avoid stress. Stress is an important part of growth in life and developing character and bringing out our potential. When we learn to use it, in other words, how we interpret and internalize it and respond to it, that's when we become the person who uses stress instead of being its victim. And therefore, the stress very often can become eustress, EUSTRESS, instead of distress. And when you learn about that, it can actually be very beneficial to the mind and body and your life. But you've got to develop the mental capacity to handle that. And that's the mental resilience and other qualities. So understanding, intelligence, which is the same thing really, then the resilience, mental toughness, and learning to the deep relaxation that comes with hypnotherapy. Now that's forms of active dynamic relaxation, which means you have to stay in the moment, in the now, and cope with a lot of stress. You can go into the more passive relaxation that de-stresses your body, activates your autonomic nervous system in marvelous ways that medicine is now beginning to recognize, that many people's autonomic nervous system has been disrupted in its healthy activities, often by adverse childhood experiences, and that has led to problems that are physical, organic illnesses 30, 40 years later even. And then the more simple forms of psychosomatic illness that come from stress, affecting your breathing, affecting your bowel, irritable bowel syndrome and other problems, we can do a great deal to help people. And even with organic illnesses that are genetically caused, that are environmentally caused, we can help their body handle the stress of medical procedures, help their body deal with the stress on the immune system and on the hypothalamic adrenal axis, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, and other systems in the body. We can work on the mind to help the body greatly. The mind has the power over the body. your subconscious mind, as we call it, regulates your body and heals your body all the time. It attempts to do that. The systems aren't perfect, but we can boost that and help the body a great deal, very often in ways that medicine has yet to really understand, and it almost defies logic at times. And there are many medical practitioners we've trained who have attested to that, to those amazing beneficial effects of hypnotherapy. So those physical effects then of stress, we can help counter them. We can work on the emotional stressors, how people can adapt and work with that, how they learn, the mental tools, gratitude, resilience I've mentioned, and what's often called mental toughness, the kind of creative, positive mental attitudes that turn stress to your advantage. Now, not superficial positive thinking, which has been shown in many years to often be very destructive to mind and body and to life, but seriously creative, intelligent, positive thinking of that kind, it's a totally different thing. Hypnotherapy teaches you all about that. And so a good hypnotherapist will help you with your mind, body, working to maximize the effectiveness of both for your life, and help you then with relationship stressors and these other stresses that come about in life financially, how to deal with their effects in the mind and body, and then in a behavioral way to have the confidence, the motivation to go out and make those changes. These are things that we're teaching on this course, which will teach you a huge amount about hypnotherapy for inductions and deepening methods, the use of programming skills, which is a very complex art, the various levels and forms of trance, the power of language in hypnotherapy, the development of the voice, the nonverbal communications, the phenomena of suggestion, waking hypnosis, trance hypnosis that can be induced and needs in many settings to be induced in less than a minute, virtually the snap of the fingers. And waking hypnosis doesn't even require a trance and can produce magnificent effects for you in your life. So you'll be learning a huge amount of practical skills by demonstrations, as I say, supervised practice sessions, how to test for the trance and make it a very reliable method of working with the trance and with the mind and body. We are going to help you then in ways that are, if you develop the interest and commitment to hypnotherapy, you can make the most wonderful career for yourself, the most wonderful changes in your life. It does require your commitment. We don't promise false claims, but if you learn those skills and that knowledge that's at the root of hypnotherapy, the real power and possibilities of hypnotherapy, you can transform your life and the lives of those around you. I've been teaching hypnotherapy for over 30 years, practicing for over 40 years. I'm still learning about the power of the mind through hypnotherapy, and I taught meditation and hypnotic methods when I was a teenager. And the more I've learned, the more I have become fascinated, devoted to its potential. I hope you'll join me for one of these classes we've coming up. The first one is the HSLC course in February next year. We'll look forward to seeing you on that course or another of our courses. And if you have questions, please get in contact. I'd be delighted to help you with those questions. And so for the moment, take care, keep programming yourself in the most positive ways you can by thinking creatively about yourself and your life. And I look forward to meeting you in the near future. Thank you very much.